get this show on the road so that we can get out of here on time. If you haven't signed in yet, please make sure you sign in. That's how we count to make sure we have a quorum. And then just a reminder that if you plan to speak, if you could please speak into the microphones and hit the button. It's for the stream, even if you think you're loud enough. We still need you to click the button.
Yeah, I know.
Showing us is happening.
Okay. You okay?
You made it up. By who? The provost? That's because we told them. We said we could.
All right, I got to click on the yeah, when you guys do your thing.
Yeah, I just got in and I saw your email. My answer is we'll all be up there, so if there's an issue, if there's Right. I understand. I'm really, can I just say, I love that when I email, I get my message out, and you're like, actually,
All right, now that everybody has had an opportunity to sign in, it is our March College Senate session. Meeting is now in session. So March is so many things to all of us, right? It's going to be the first day of spring, right around the corner, even though that groundhog is, I heard he's getting sued for fraud because it was snowing yesterday. But March in particular is a new beginning as things are starting to thaw and spring being right around the corner. But for me in particular, actually this week or so, as a mathematician, Pi Day is this week, March 14th, right? As a second-generation American, I'll be celebrating St. Patrick's Day also later this week. And then I also have one of my 4 boys later this month. So March is very special for me, so I'm very excited to share that with all of you today. A few things that we were brought up at the last College Senate meeting under what we're calling for the good of the order were some questions regarding FERPA and questions regarding the Student Access Center and things like that. So I found as many answers as I could to address everybody's concerns. I posted, here we go. Here are the FERPA and the student rights that are for all of our students. And now that, and another question was, where are the things, all the FERPA disclosures held? All right, so I talked with Paul Lon. He's not going to be able to be here today, but that is housed within the registrar's office, and with moving over to Workday, it's going to be in that area. So right now, faculty and advisors do not have direct access to FERPA disclosures. So if anybody is working with a student, especially during advisement, because we know that advisement is going to be coming into play soon with summer courses and with the fall semester, if you have a particular question regarding whether or not a student has allowed a parent or another individual rights to their schedule and anything with FERPA, you can call the registrar's office directly with the student's name and ID number, and they can let you know the status of that for you. But eventually, once we work over to go over to Workday, that information will be available. With the Student Access Center, Fran Moyer gave me all sorts of information. She actually was the one that also sent me the FERPA information. So, Fran, thank you very, very much for all of answering all the questions for me. It was great. By Thursday, after the last Senate meeting, I had all the answers thanks to Fran Moyer. So, thank you, Fran. But one thing that seemed to also be confused was what high school versus college responsibilities are for the Student Access Center. So in high school, the schools actually have more responsibility in servicing the students as they do in the college. So many of us, before we became instructors here, or even if we're part-time instructors, we worked in high schools and used to following those rules. So, and I know a lot of our adjuncts are also high school instructors, and then they work for us at night. I did that myself for many years. But the rules are different once the students come to college. And I just want to pop this up. So students have to advocate for themselves if they received services when they were in high school. So it's not our job to seek them out. They are now adults and they're in charge of their education. So if they want to seek out services, then it is their responsibility to seek it out with our Student Access Center. So we do have a document up here with all the different requirements, but I think the main thing was that the information about what post-secondary institutions are not required to do. All right, so there's a list here. I don't feel like I want to read it to you, so I know you're all educators and you can read. But those are there for you, but they are also posted on the College Senate site, and I will be including them in the email that I send out later in the week so that you have direct access to it in case you have any questions. And then, of course, the Student Access Center is always happy to have conversations with anyone that has questions regarding these things. So we have a couple Student Access Center reps here today. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Is there anything you want to chime in on that? All right. I did my homework. Excellent. Thank you. Let's see. And so those were the answers, the best I could come up with for you for the different things that were addressed for the good of the order. We're also going to have for the good of the order again today at the end of the Senate meeting, because I feel, as I said last meeting, that sometimes people have questions or concerns that they don't feel when they're sure when they should bring them up. So I like having that opportunity for anyone to discuss whatever's on their mind openly. So I'm going to keep that on there, and then we'll continue any issues that are brought up at that point, coming up and finding answers for you and delivering them at the following meeting. Okay, so with that is my welcome and report. I would like to welcome Dr. Coy for his president's report.
Some were robins today. They weren't dead and frozen on the ground. They were actually flying around. A pure sign of spring to come. I want to begin by thanking Pam Sikowski, who recently joined HR at South Campus, but she's been a huge asset in the president's office. She did everything from PowerPoints to picking out the color to paint the president's conference room, among other things. And we have Allison McCarthy here, and to replace Pam in my office, I wanted you to have a face to a name. So if she emails you, you know who she is. So I think you will join me in welcoming her to SUNY here. Senate has a call for nominations for senators. That's an honor and a huge responsibility. And so for the academic year of 2019-2020, nominations have been going on and must be submitted, submitting by Friday, March the 15th. Colleen, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure, I can add that. So you may self-nominate. You may nominate someone else from your division or department. Please make sure they're interested before you nominate them. And any representatives that their position is up and needs to self-nominate, you have gotten an email from our governance committee, and you can self-nominate. You can email me, Michael Rio, Kim Cruella, and we'll be voting in the next couple of weeks, and Michael will have a more in-depth report in a little bit. Michael Delaney.
Would you mind mentioning that senators who are faculty members will be expected to attend the faculty caucus of the Senate?
Faculty members, please attend the faculty of the caucus of the Senate. There are reminders sent out monthly, and we rotate between all 3 campuses, and that's where all the background work gets done. So, and it's open to all faculty as well, so if there's something that you want to the Senate to work on, that is the body to bring it to, so then the next step is to come to the Senate.
So I also want to reinforce the role of the College Senate in terms of decision-making and discussions of the important issues, academic and otherwise, at the college. I've been coming on a regular basis to confer the importance of this. It is the platform for shared governance. And shared governance is something that's unique to higher ed institutions, as many of you know. I think it's our greatest strength and our greatest weakness at the same time. It does take a lot of deliberation, but it also becomes a source of mobilization, the source of mutual understanding, and cohesion in terms of the college. So I do encourage you to apply and nominate yourself or others for college senator. So JMZ is here. I just wanted to plug, they may have met with some of you already. I want to also suggest that this is a huge opportunity for you to let JMZ know what's working, what isn't in terms of your space, what your needs are, what student needs are, and hopefully this time some of the recommendations may be implemented. Now prior to my time they had a study done of the school looking at academic programs and space needs, and many of the recommendations hadn't been implemented. But I think this is an opportunity to really start fresh. We will be using the recommendations of this study because they're doing a comprehensive academic and master planning process. So please reach out to them if you, and I think they've already had some discussions, but they will be here on a regular basis for the next year and a half. So today I had my third Pizza with the Prez meetings. I've been meeting regularly with students, and it's very exciting to hear directly from students what's working for them and what isn't. And I think it helps us also in terms of being able to walk in the foot of our feet of our students and kind of know exactly what they're going through to hear it directly from them. In terms of advancement, we recently had Inspire Dental on campus, and we've been talking to them about naming opportunities for our clinic, as well as scholarships. And so they'll be visiting, they visited our North Campus, so we showed them dental hygiene, we'll show them dental tech at South Campus. And it's one of the ways we've been encouraging the partnerships with companies that will ensure jobs and placements for our students, but also bring in possibly non-tuition revenue. The last thing I wanted, did you get the PowerPoint? There was an email sent to you by Allison. She also has a thumb drive that she can plug in.
What time did she send it?
She sent it, Allison, what did you send it to? So, as I mentioned before, ideally, the president's role is as much externally facing as it is internally facing. And so, one of the things I've been remiss in is talking about some of the roles I've had in the community. And I think with Doug here, more of my attention will be outward facing. But I wanted to talk about something I've been involved in since my arrival, and that's participation with as soon as Molly's ready to go. Oh, great. Oh, perfect. So, my involvement with the Greater Buffalo Racial Equity Roundtable, it has a vision. Buffalo has a shared future where racial equity will create prosperity and opportunity for everyone in our region. And this is currently the membership of the 2019 Roundtable. And so it includes obviously Kreiner Cash, the mayor, Howard Zemsky, some very good little people in our Western New York community. And the idea is that we can work on a very high level in ensuring racial equity initiatives get implemented, that we are working within our own organizations to ensure racial equity in terms of hiring, in terms of accessibility and inclusion. So this is our plan for the year. It's very complex and it's multi-layered. I'm just going to talk about the 4 initiatives that we're working on at the creating the conditions for change in Western New York. Starting with the circle on the right, we've been working very closely with Dottie Gallagher and the Buffalo Niagara Partnership in terms of strengthening inclusive workplace practices. I've been involved in healing circles, and we've been having that implemented in right now faith communities. And the idea is that hearing people's stories helps people understand, and so you stand and you tell your story. And it's been very powerful in terms of engendering mutual understanding. The one on the far left, community engagement and awareness, we've been working, and I've been working with WBFO in terms of stories. That stories create a certain narrative about race and equity in our region, and that how we talk about it makes a difference in how people understand it or don't understand it. And the last one I want to mention, which Tracy Cleveland has been helpful in implementing, is racial equity and impact analysis training. We've had our staff and faculty attend 2 of these already. The last one, we've had over 30 people attend the Community Foundation. And now we're at a place where we have coaches, 8 of them, I believe, who will be providing that training to a greater number of people. And again, it's part of our SUNY Area Cares to be culturally relevant. And so this is just one of the things, the initiatives I'm involved in outside of the campus. Tracy, did you want to say anything about the coaches? I know we've kind of twisted Mike Delaney's arm in ensuring that we will have some of the coaching training for faculty at one of the convocations.
So we've actually had, we just finished a coaching session probably, I think it was April 5th or so. So we'll be doing another, March, we'll be doing another coaching session in June, and then we're looking at having training for everyone at convocation. So maybe there's a total of 8 of us, and we'll be meeting probably the next month or so to try to plan what the training will look like at convocation time. We'll start planning to get everyone trained, and then people are interested in becoming coaches. After you do the training, that opportunity will be available for them to become coaches. And if there's enough people that are interested between now and even before convocation that would like to go through the initial training, just just let me know, and I can see if I can schedule another initial training session.
Great, thanks, Richard. You know, I really believe we are a stronger organization the more inclusive we are. I actually have a phone call at 3 that I got to run to, but I want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions about any of that, JMZ, Pizza with the Press, Sandra Nominations, Robin's Line. Yes?
Red Wing Blackbirds are back too, but anyway, how often?
Hit the button.
I did, she did, I did, yeah. I'm from South Buffalo, you guys can hear me. How often do you plan on doing those pizzas with the press? Because I would have liked to have attended myself, and I couldn't, and I was just wondering, is it something you're going to do more than once a semester?
Yeah, well, because there's 3 campuses, we've been doing them once a semester.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're planning on doing them more often.
We'd like to. Maybe cookies with the press.
Breakfast.
Breakfast. Do you think that would help to have more than one?
I'm one of those former ECC alumni, and I'm a very big advocate for non-traditional students, and because I was one of them. And I know I teach late in the day, and I get a lot of older students, and some of them can't make those times.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it would be nice if we could have an opportunity for our older non-traditional students to be
Right,
able to
maybe in the
make-
evening or early afternoon. Okay, that's something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll definitely find some way we can do that.
Thank you.
Joanna?
I don't have a mic, so.
Thanks, one
We can hear you.
It's like a controversy.
They're
I
never
just want to
far
know what
away.
you've heard from our students during the pizza.
You know, today there were glowing reviews, and I'm not sure why. Meaning, usually there's things like we need to add more hooks to the women's bathroom door, the microwave in the student lounge isn't working right, certain buttons don't work, etc., etc. But they were glowing today about faculty and staff. And actually, one student handed me a letter recognizing one of the nursing faculty that she felt like she would have dropped out otherwise. And so it's good for me not only to hear, because obviously students first, right? So their experience, in my mind, is really what should be the basis on which we're making decisions, but also deciding what we should be doing. And so it's great to hear that coming from students and how much they've appreciated your efforts, both faculty and staff.
I just want to let you know that I have a 12 o'clock class, and my entire class came in all excited because as soon as I finished our lecture, they were going to run over and have lunch with you.
Oh, good.
So really good positive feedback, and they were literally all excited.
Oh, good. That's today?
That was today?
Oh, thanks, Dad. Well, see what you can get with free food, right? It has nothing to do with it. Any other? Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Before we leave the topic of diversity,
Yep.
I wanted to recognize Marianne Party, who's been leading our sessions for the Diversity Academy. And we have another 2 or 3 sessions left, so if someone's still interested in attending that, you can. Marianne is somewhere up there hiding, but she's done an awesome job leading the session, so.
Yep.
And the other 2 members on the committee. Marlene Arnold was part of the committee, and Tracy Archie as well, who's our chief diversity officer, so just wanted to mention that before we leave.
Yeah, thanks. Is Tracy Archie here? Because I don't know if people were introduced to her yet.
Yeah, she's not,
Okay.
she's here, but she's
Yeah. Okay, anything else? I gotta make my call, so have a great Senate, and we'll see you in a month. Thank you.
There we go. So we're going to move right into old business, and Michael Rio is going to give a little bit more in detail update on elections.
So the call for nominations is currently open. Nominations should be sent to Senate Governance at ecc.edu or any of the governance committee members that will be fine as well. Elections will close on the, nominations will close on the 15th. Elections will be held from April 1st to April 15th. The elections will be by ballot, and ballot boxes will be placed in libraries at each campus. I'd like to thank those of you that have nominated or self-nominated, but please encourage colleagues to nominate or nominate someone that you think might serve on the House Senate and kind of twist that on a little bit. We also have elections coming up for chair and vice chair. Nominations can be accepted at any time. You may send those nominations to the Senate government's email. You may make nominations from the Senate floor in April up until May, when the elections will take place on the floor of the Senate in May for chair and vice chair. And that's our update for governance.
Thank you, Michael. And I just want to also encourage anybody that has been thinking about how to become a faculty leader, how to get more involved, that this is a great first step. We can, you can serve on any Senate committees as a faculty member, but you can have a larger voice as a college senator as well. And we have a lot of different task force and exciting things that are going to be coming up that we're looking to tap people for all across the board in lots of different areas. Okay, so we have general education report. I got Erickson.
Thanks, Ellen. There's two things related to the General Education Committee worthwhile to note. One is, I think Eric here to speak to it much better than me, is to remind everyone of the new English sequence that is going to be starting fall of 2019, so next semester. Please think of how these changes will affect your program's ability to meet both the SUNY general education requirements and the ILO requirements. If you are having questions about that, please reach out to your deans, your assessment mentor, or anyone on the general education committee can help you out with that. And then the second thing is, in Nuventive, we have now put in the rubrics for the ILOs that are being assessed this academic year. That includes communication, critical analysis and reasoning, information literacy, and quantitative reasoning. If you are planning to have your course assessing those ILOs and would like that online rubric sent to you, just email me. I can send it to you right away.
And then Erica is going to share some information about the new English sequence.
All right, so we're changing EN 110, and that's going to become EN 100. And so that's almost, don't quote me, don't run around and say it is 1-for-1. It's not, but it almost is. EN 100 is still going to be focusing on humanities-based reading selections, about 15 to 20 pages worth of writing. There's still going to be research components, but it is not student-focused research. Instead, they are hand-selected sources so that we can talk more in depth about what makes sources good versus not good and how to document them appropriately. The ILOs, that 100 EN 100 is going to fulfill our communication and global perspectives. The second semester would then be EN 101 and 102. Students do not have to take both. It is one or the other, depending on your program. EN 101 is writing for the humanities, or writing in the humanities. EN 102 is writing for STEM. Clearly, you're going to know where your students should belong. EN 101 and 102 address the ILOs for communication, critical analysis and reasoning, information literacy, and ethics. So those are the institutional learning outcomes. For the SUNY GERs, EN 100 will address humanities, and EN 101 and 102 will address basic communication. We were talking about it because most of the readings are going to be humanities-based, since that's what we tend to pull from anyway. So there was an email.
You need a microphone. And raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. Sabrina.
That was put through students, for example?
We are putting it together to go through students.
Okay. I think it's kind of, we shouldn't really advertise that it was that until it's approved.
Where's Jay? There you are.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
I was trying to hide. So we were requested to take on the humanities GER because in essence, 6 credits of English is 1/10 of a 60-credit program. So the thought was if we could at least address one of the SUNY GERs effectively, if it fit, that it would be more advantageous to the students. There were a couple programs that would not be able to fill the 7 out of 10 if we did not take on the humanities or the arts. If you remember 110 and 111, that combination took on basic communications and humanities or basic communication and the arts. So we were asked if we could at least fit one of the GERs in the 110. I'm sorry, the 100, the new 100. After discussion with the chairs and some discussion with the department, we felt that the majority of what we did in English was humanities focused and that we would fill that requirement.
So it's more student focused.
It is student focused and helping us get our students out in a timely manner without overloading them with courses.
Erickson?
And I just want to clarify too, this course will come to the General Education Committee for discussion and vote, just like any other course would. SUNY also has the final approval for that, so yes, at this time, does not fulfill it, but it does appear this course is in the process of coming forward at this time.
Dave?
I want to thank you guys for doing that, because somebody with 5 AS degrees who was looking at maybe having to change every one of them because of that sequence change, this makes it a lot more palatable for us.
Good. That's good to know.
Thank you. Greg?
Will this ease the transfer credits coming in from other colleges at all?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
We're going to write that down. Oh, you got it? Jamie?
Part of the English's department for changing the sequence is to be, we were having issues with 111 transferring out.
Transferring out, yeah.
Right, so I hadn't actually thought about how it would line up for transferring in, but that's something we can definitely look at.
Sure.
Erickson?
If this course is approved, I'm just going to give that cautionary tale, but also one thing to think of for units is that right now English 111 does fulfill 3 technically knowledge areas, which is communication, humanities, and arts. If EN 100 is eventually approved by SUNY, I would just look at your unit as well, because it at this time is only coming forward with the humanities, because you still have to fulfill the 7 of 10 as an AS requirement. You may want to think about if in fact you are getting the 7 of 10, if again, English 100 is approved. I'm still thinking about it essentially.
Great. All right, thank you,
Excellent.
Erica and Erickson.
You're welcome.
So we have 2 task force updates coming up that we don't have people available to give. So I will do my best based on what I know. So the scheduling task force has been meeting. They are going to be looking at the Ad Astra program. It's going to just be a sample, right? It's not going to be something that is going to be implemented at this point in time. So they wanted to make sure that everybody is very clear on that. We're just sampling it, giving it a test drive. One of the other things that we are going to be working with is with the Academic Roadmaps Task Force. Many departments have already established their roadmaps and have worked with different people from the academic roadmaps, but if you are close to completing or would like to complete a roadmap, we are going to be handing that over to the Ad Astra group so that it helps when we are working with this software. And that's all I know about that one. For College Senate Task Force on College Placement Testing, there is quite a bit of information. I'm just going to pull that up. So there were 2 meetings. And this information is posted on the College Senate page. They were WebExed and recorded, so there are links on this document. Some of the items that were discussed, which is, you can see actually here, it's urgent, is identifying English language learners, students for proper advisement. So that was a large piece of the conversation, and there's going to be further discussions during unit retreats on Friday for College Day. So that is there. You are welcome to watch any of these meetings, and then this bottom link is a link to all of the documents that were discussed at that College Senate Placement Task Force. I know there's a lot of interest with that. It's across disciplines and different areas within the college, and it's hard to include everybody on this task force because then the group will get very large and difficult to run. So we're trying to be as transparent and open as possible with the discussions that this group is doing. So if this is something that is interesting to you or something that you would like feedback on, you can feel free to email Dave Uzinski and about anything that you see in those meetings. Okay. So Fabio's not, I'm just going to be everybody today. So I'm also Fabio. So assessment of governance. We have a link. It's ready to roll. We're going to send it out on Thursday. So Thursday I'll be sending my College Senate update out to the general population of the college, but then there will be a second email that's going to go just to senators because we are searching for your input on shared governance and how we work as a body together, collaboratively, together within the college, and then the outside of the college. So everywhere from here through administration, through the board, and then back down. So that will be sent out also on Thursday. So there will be 2 emails from me on Thursday, one specific just to senators. We're working on a more generalized survey based on the coach survey that faculty completed last spring that we'll be sending out to all of the college in general. Okay, so new business. We have a new College Senate parliamentarian, and it's Doug Vandermeulen in the back. And I got your book. We remembered it today. So we've given him all sorts of notes and things about parliamentarian, and he's been reading it up and he's ready to roll. So Doug is going to be my assistant in keeping everybody in order because you guys are very unruly, obviously. But it was a unanimous vote at the last College Senate Executive Committee meeting. So next we have College Senate Academic Integrity Task Force. I'm going to invite up some of the members of the task force.
Yeah, there's a whole mob of us today.
Yep, come on, mob.
If Patrina wants to come down.
We got some deans of students, some academic deans.
So as the chair of this task force, I'm just going to give a quick overview of where we are. We had a meeting yesterday to clarify specifically the adjudication board. And in particular, because when we get to the PowerPoint, you'll see the adjudication board has several, I'm going to call it branches. Because the Senate is an academic body, we only were discussing the need or the makeup of the academic portion of that. And so that when we get to the part for voting, that's essentially what we're voting on, just the academic branch. We don't have a say in the other 2 branches. What else did I want to say? Both Patrina and Jamie Smith are going to actually go over kind of the details of that. And I forgot what you were going over. Mostly because we were flurrying this morning with emails trying to clarify who was doing what. So I think I'm going to turn it over. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to them.
So we just wanted to present to you guys because this is not something we were lighthearted about. We were very involved in this over the last year. Between the 3 of the deans here, we've joined all kinds of councils, including the Foundation of Individual Rights in Education, American Association of University Professors, SUNY Conduct Institute, and many others, to look at conduct, students' rights, faculty rights, and the adjudication of different types of cases. So what we're saying is this was not taken lightly at all. We've been working with the integrity group, and we have sort of bounced off all kinds of ideas and looked at different models. This is what we're presenting as what we feel will work best here at SUNY Erie.
All right, the adjudication hearing board is not a new concept for SUNY Erie. However, in the past, our board was a 3-campus board with no more than 7 members. Our change in focus this year, going with best practices from other colleges and universities, is that we will have 1 college-wide board with no more than 21 members. And the committees will be based on 1 overall arching college-wide hearing board with 3 separate committees, 1 for academic, 1 for conduct, and 1 for Title IX. Each of the various 3 committees will be chaired by a dean of students and a faculty chair appointed by the College Senate. And each of these 3 committees will hear specific cases relative to each of the 3 committees. So we will continue to allow the 3 offices that deal with these issues. They will continue to perform that function, and they will hear cases administratively. However, when it comes to appeals or cases that are referred by the actual administrators over these areas, they will be referred to the various committee for decision. So we do that in instances where the head of the various departments feel that they cannot be impartial or fair, or students feel that a decision was not fair for them based upon the person who made the decision. So for instance, as a dean of students, if I'm involved in a conduct issue and I do not feel that I could be impartial and fair, then I will refer my case over to the conduct committee. Same thing for Tracy Cleveland. If she's engaged in a Title IX issue and she feels that she needs to reach impartiality, she will refer her case over to the Title IX committee.
So you're probably wondering who all is on this board. I mean, that's probably the most germane piece for all of you. What this is going to look like is it's going to be a 12-person voting board with 1 SES member on the board in a non-voting capacity who will be there in order to break a tie. So if the board comes down to 6-6 and we need to cast a vote to break that tie for the student's decision, the SES member would get a vote in that circumstance, but in no other place. So the way it's going to break down is this is simply for the academic board. The other 2 are in progress. And to let you know, we've had many lengthy discussions on the committee involving folks, everyone from the Faculty Senate who's on that, trying to figure out what the best way to represent the college in an academic capacity is for this board. So what we came up with was 1 dean of students, 2 academic deans, 4 teaching faculty or librarians, 1 of which is appointed by the FFECC, 1 appointed by the provost, and 2 appointed by the Senate itself, a counselor appointed by Student Affairs, 1 librarian appointed by the provost or their designee, 3 students identified by the criminal justice or paralegal departments, and 1 SES member non-voting who would be appointed by the provost. This way it maintains a focus on academics because these will be adjudicated academic cases. We're going to assess and review the committee annually, and what we're asking for today with the resolution is to vote on this structure of the 12-member board and the 1 SES member.
And if you have further questions with regard to the academic appeal process as well as the conduct in Title IX, we have a new webpage that was just constructed, thanks to Paula Sandy, and unveiled just, I believe, last week, a dean's page that has various documents that relate to academic dishonesty, the code of conduct. And we also, most importantly, not only have college resources, college policies that relates to the structure, but guidance documents where you can print off specific information regarding how you may handle a student that you suspect of academic dishonesty, as well as a barrage of other topics. So you can feel free to go to the website and look for the resource information that will help you, hopefully in the future, with how to handle these issues in a uniform and fair process, and also that will link back to the committee.
The question was, when we say academic appeal, what exactly are we referring to? An academic decision is any decision that would impact a student's grade, placement in a program, or possibility of graduating from a program. So it could be a clinical placement issue. In some cases, it could be plagiarism or cheating. It could be a simple grade dispute. But once it's gone through the regular complaint process, we are not trying to circumvent that process. If it's gone all the way through and the parties are not content with the resolution, they have the right to appeal. Correct. This is not a probationary appeal or appeal to get back into the school. It's not a financial aid appeal. This is a academic decision while the person was a student, if they want to appeal it. Terminology.
Kim, you need a microphone. You need a microphone.
When you mentioned about if deans couldn't be impartial, would that be an automatic referral if it fell under their discretion and they were involved? Would it automatically go to the next committee, or?
It wouldn't go to the next committee. So for example, if it was a student that I had a relationship with through their tenure here and they were disputing something, so I felt because of our personal connection, I would not be able to serve as one of those 12 voting members on that committee.
So it would be automatic?
It could be. I would feel the responsibility to recuse myself because of my my involvement. The other thing is, if you refer to the academic complaint process, that the actual complaint would rise up until to the dean, and the dean is supposed to try to mediate a decision with the faculty member. In that case, because I was already part of the decision-making process, I would not be part of the appeal process. And that would be automatic.
It also happens two ways. The student could
Katrina.
request. It could also happen two ways. The student could request that individual members of the hearing board or the committee be recused because of some relationship and impartiality that's being questioned, or the individual on the committee or hearing board could recuse themselves based upon what Jamie just explained.
And
Kim?
just one more question. With the referral of the appointments of the membership, is there any specific criteria for those when you're just selecting one person, or is it based on anything specific, or just your judgment on?
We are actually coming up with the composition of the committees, but we're trying to have an overarching board that has a sort of a pool to pick from. It would be up to the appointee to come up with criteria or how they want to appoint. So the Senate, whoever they decide to choose based on whatever criteria they decide to choose it, they would refer that to us. Same thing for FFECC or the Provost Office. And the AAECC.
Any other questions? Jim? The question was, why criminal justice students? Why them?
He wanted me to ask it for him, but if you heard him.
You're out of order, Dave.
Actually, this was a lot of discussion. Based on best practice research, we found that other colleges and universities really decided on the type or group of students belong to. So there were some examples that wanted students that had a passion for legal issues and legal matters, and that's why we went with criminal justice and paralegal. However, as Jason mentioned, annually we will do a review of the process and procedures and cases reviewed and decision, and we may decide the following year that we want to broaden the group of students that we've selected from. In the past, I can tell you historically, we've always selected SGA officers, and that has been problematic for a number of different reasons. So we decided to go with a best practice research this year.
Bill?
The 4 committee members that are either teaching faculty or librarians, is there a minimum teaching faculty? Because it seems like there's a scenario there where there would be 0 teaching faculty on that committee.
No, there's automatically 4.
But it said 4 teaching faculty or librarians?
Mm-hmm. So, hang on, let me find it.
How they're chosen, I doubt that it would be 4 librarians available, which is why we put librarians in another category, because we actually thought most likely it would be the other way around, that it would be all teaching faculty and few, if any, librarians.
Cooper?
Would this be the body that would hear, say, a student complained about not being awarded transfer credit from another school, and they wanted to appeal that decision?
Once they talk to the professor in their department, if they couldn't come through a resolution with their academic dean, at that point they could appeal it to us, yes.
Brian? Our SGA rep, Brian?
Yeah, I had a question about, sorry, excuse me, your decision to change SGA members to the Justice Department students. I don't understand what kind of problems arose, because
it's based on the commitment of SGA. If you, I'm not sure if you're a new SGA member,
yes,
but every time the college needs students, they go to SGA. So it's about the time commitment, the level of the current SGA officers. They can't be on every committee. And so therefore, we've been talking for the last several years about engaging other students and college-wide committees and processes. And so given the fact that we saw other schools engage students from, legal programs, we decided to go with paralegal or criminal justice, but that could change next year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Michael?
To that point, the committee discussed the idea of getting nominations from paralegal and criminal justice departments, that the deans of students would vet those nominations to be sure that there weren't, like violations involved or conflicts of interest or whatever, and that ultimately the approval would be by SGA after those people were nominated and vetted. That was the recommendation. That's actually in the resolution. Oh,
Michael?
I wanted to point out that I don't believe Cooper's question got answered because I think it was misinterpreted.
Oh. Cooper, was your question answered?
The answer I heard was that, yes, if a student wanted to appeal being denied transfer credit from another school into ECC, that they could go through this body and have that adjudicated if they didn't get satisfaction at a different level.
So the simple answer was yes, but I wanted to point out that they would still have to work with that department first. That we are not superseding in any way the regular process. It's an extra step at the end.
This would be the next step in the process for this.
Exactly.
Good.
This is the process that Jamie is discussing with regarding going through the department, working with the department chair or head, and the dean is the informal process. The hearing is the formal process. You cannot start at the formal level. You have to go sequentially through all of the necessary informal steps before you can have a case heard.
Right. This is not the first step. To Patrina's point, we're hoping that many issues are resolved with faculty and within the departmental level, and if not with the dean's office. This is what we do if it cannot be resolved at those levels. Question?
Going back to Cooper's question, I mean, if a department says, no, we're not accepting that credit, the answer should be no. There shouldn't really be another, who else is going to decide but that department?
It would matter, it would actually factor on a lot of things. In most cases, I do agree with you, but if they're going to a transfer program or they're transferring out and the transfer school, and I've seen this example, would accept it. No, I know, but if they transfer in, but they're getting an AS and their plans are to transfer out, in the school they're transferring out to, that would be a consideration. In most cases, I would assume that the faculty of that department has a valid reason that which would be presented to the appeals committee that says, we don't accept it because X, Y, Z. I would assume that it would be hard for the students to argue with that because you guys are the experts in that. But they still have the right to appeal the decision.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so the resolution is posted. Oh, Marlene, but you're nowhere near a microphone.
No, but I can talk loud.
But you're not going to be picked up by the stream.
I'll repeat it.
All right, Jamie's going to repeat it. She's going to help you out.
On the resolution, it just says for teaching faculty. The word librarians is missing. And also, the very last one, it says one member appointee by the provost. I think that was on the chart, a senior executive staff member.
So the question was, on the resolution, it says for teaching faculty members. It does not recognize librarians as it did in the chart.
Okay.
The second part of the question was that in the resolution, it says one person appointed by the provost's office, where on the chart it says one SES member.
Okay.
One last thing. On the chart further indicates that there was one appointment by FFECC, and on the resolution it specifies FFECC president, not
Same thing.
So for the streamers, the question was, on the chart, it says one member appointed by FFECC. However, in the resolution, it says FFECC president.
I could address that. It also says by College Senate on the PowerPoint, and on this resolution it says College Senate chair. So anything that the College Senate decides as a group, then I supply that answer or endorsement as the acting body of the College Senate, and Andy Sacco is in the same capacity. So if the FFECC Executive Committee decides which person they want, then Andy is the one that sends that information out. So essentially it's the same.
But I am correct that we are actually voting on the resolution, so we should probably concentrate on what's in the resolution. However, if you do not agree with it, now would be the time.
Right. I added that it says teaching faculty / librarian to the fore, and I also added the word, or well, the initials SES down at this other point that Marlene made. Tahira?
Sorry, it also says one librarian appointed by student chair. The other document said one librarian appointed by provost or deputy.
So this, I'm sorry for the streamers, the question is that on the table it said one librarian appointed by the provost or designee, and on the resolution it says one librarian appointed by the Senate. At the end of our discussion yesterday, my understanding that we were saying the provost or the designee, however, other people had an issue with that. I'm personally confident with my librarians, so I don't care who appoints them.
So we got a lot of information today, and then I had meetings and travel time, so we weren't able to catch both documents up to match exactly, but the thought process behind changing the librarian, the one specific librarian appointed by the Senate chair, was that we have to even out the number of faculty appointments by faculty, or faculty or librarian. The FFECC would also be, so we would have the 3 people here, and then the 1 librarian. That would make it up to 4 that are appointed by Senate or the union. And we felt that that was a more even way, because the rest are administrative appointees, to kind of even it out in that respect. And that was, I think, like at 1 o'clock that we discussed that. So we didn't have time to catch up both documents. But that's the thought process behind it. But it's also, you know, a resolution on the floor. So that is something that is obviously something we can change before we put it up here. Michael?
Just want to mention that, you know, if we're going to do amendments, we need to have, you know, motions to amend.
All right. Marlene, would you like to make a motion to amend the resolution? Yes. In the manner in which I just fixed it? Yes. Would anyone like to second Marlene's motion? Derek? Any discussion? Any objection? All right, no objection, general consent. The resolution is now amended. So this is the current resolution on the floor. We're still in discussion. We haven't quite had a call to vote on it yet. Cooper? Call to question. Thank you. All right, so with that, is there any objections to voting? Call to question means we have to vote now. Just FYI. All right, so there's no objections to voting right now. So we are going to vote. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand so I can see you. Any objections? Thank you. And abstentions? Okay, thank you. With that, the motion passes. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Let's see, what else do we have to do today? Affordable instructional materials is up next. An update from Patty Kaiser.
Okay, I'm going to throw some numbers at everybody. It is actually growing, even though our numbers are different. Fall of 18, we had 229 courses listed. We had 65 at City, 66 at South, 36 at North, and 62 in DL. Spring, our current semester, which has lower enrollments, hence our percentages are probably still good. We have 192 courses running. We have 57 at City, 58 at South, 26 at North, and 56 at DL. Overall, these are many, many students who are saving a great deal of money, making it possible for them to get other materials and all of the advantages to our affordable instructional materials program. The update from SUNY OER is they expect the funding to continue for 3 more years, completing their 5-year cycle. They are beginning to look at making sure that the Gen Ed courses and what they call Z degree program majors We are using slightly different language here, but that there are pathways for students to use affordable instructional materials in courses for their general education courses or through high enrolled degree programs. SUNY OER is putting more resources in new curriculum projects, trying to get high enrolled courses. They worked in general psych for one of their earlier ones. They're working on some of the basic sociologies. Courses that across the SUNY community colleges are the high enrolled programs so that those would be ready to adopt, so that you could get everything you needed all cleaned up with good materials, vetted by faculty, ready to go. Internally, our next steps, we're putting together a large meeting of all of our stakeholders. That will be advisors, counselors, marketing, enrollment, student services, so that we can actually bring everybody up to date on where we are, what we've accomplished, and what barriers we see right now. Some of those barriers are our own internal and some external marketing. We have all of those courses. Do our students know that they're there? Do our students make registration enrollment decisions based on them? Does it make a difference for our students? So we want to get the word out to them. We want to make sure that our advisors and our counselors and anybody that is talking to the students knows about it. We need to know that our enrollment and our marketing teams know about it. So we will be putting together a larger discussion in terms of where do we go next with this. We are really on track with what the other SUNY colleges are experiencing. There were always people who were doing this behind the scenes at all of the colleges. The low-lying fruit of people who were already doing it, who were enthusiastic about it and made this shift early, the early adopters, they're all in. So what do we do next, and how do we spread the word that this is really good for our students? And it makes, I teach history, and the fact that my students have their books on day one has made all the difference. All of the students are very excited about the accessible material. That's where we are. Any questions?
Thank you, Patty. Any questions regarding affordable instructional materials? All righty. If you are interested in converting to the OERs, please reach out to the team. We're not really running sandboxes anymore because interest has fell down. However, if enough people reach out and say, hey, I would love to convert my course, or I would love to know more about OER, please reach out either to myself or Michael Delaney with CPD so we can get some sandboxes scheduled. Right now, we are working with people individually if necessary. Patty?
Yeah, we will take our horse and pony show wherever there is a small group of people. So if your department wants to take this on, let us know. But we were getting fewer and fewer people turning up for the sandboxes. So let's let one of us know on the committee. That includes Dave Yasinski at City Campus as well.
Right, and if you paid attention to the numbers that Patty was talking about, North Campus is our largest campus, but they were also the smallest number of OER adopters. So if you are at North and you're thinking, hey, why doesn't my department jump on board? You know, South and City are really going for it. Maybe we would want to up the ante a little, get some friendly competition amongst the three campuses. Please reach out to us. We would love to help you adopt. Jason Steinitz.
Patty, how do students find out which courses are OERs? I'm finding that a lot of the students that are in my class are sort of very pleasantly surprised, and they didn't really realize it until they got into the course. And I think it would be a real help if they could have that information up front. And maybe it is, but I just don't know where it is.
It is sort of. It is not, let me get this right. It is in the online course descriptions. No, it's not online. It is in the print catalog, which? It's on the schedule. Yeah. So it is somewhat out there, but the problem is they could see the label and not know what it is. All right. So I have up, so this is the printed schedule that I pulled off of the page. So you'll see
We have Shannon Wise here from South. She's AIM Business. A survey of science is AIM with Chem. Some computer science here from City. So this
But
is...
unless people know what the AIM tag on their courses means, they're not using it to make decisions. So that's our next step is
Right.
letting people know.
I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. It's, there it is. Sabrina?
How does it go about getting identified in there? For example, I intend all of my EN 100 courses in the fall to be AIM, but they've never been run before, so how would you know that?
Have you submitted paperwork for each of those courses?
Not for those, for the ones I've been doing now.
Yeah, but I have some courses that have always been AIM, and I chair the committee, and I put one slot through, and guess what? Pat Ryan doesn't read my mind. So there were other pieces. So we have to make sure that the faculty are getting the right information to the right people in time to make the deadlines.
Okay,
Right.
so I guess my question about it is that I've been submitting the paperwork I need to for the grant. So there should be some process or paperwork to submit every time we do something else that is above and beyond that grant.
Right, and that's what most people have done. They paid attention to the one piece and forgot, oh, I've got 3 other courses. So
Pat
that-
Ryan?
Can you pull up the help desk?
Yes. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Hang on.
I confused you, I know. Okay, there's a form on the help desk. That's... I don't want to start talking you through the steps until you can see it. Okay, so if you enter the help desk,
It's the blue circle of death.
I feel like the Jeopardy music should be going or something now.
This one.
Now you're trying to log in twice.
I don't have...
Okay, if you down on the bottom on the right, you'll see request something. If you go there, and then under online learning, because that's the only area I have. If you scroll down the list, there's an affordable instructional material.
Oh, course reporting.
Course reporting. You can click on that form, fill out the application. It's real simple. And then we just ask for you to attach a syllabus so that we can review the material, make sure what you're saying you're doing meets the criteria, and then we'll tag it in our database, and hopefully we will record it from there on out once schedules are set. You know, it is a manual process where I'm matching a course list to an Access database, so are there going to be flaws in the database once in a while? Yes, but I try and catch most of them. So once you report a class, it should get tagged going forward unless you come back to me and tell me I'm no longer doing this. Okay?
Thanks, Pat. So
No
I'm
problem.
teaching a new section that I've never taught as AIM online in the fall, so I have to submit it as well. So, but I don't have a syllabus ready yet. Doug?
I just want to make one comment. My name is Douglas Vandermeulen. I run the START New Student Orientation and Onboarding Department. So if you have anyone that wants to get this information out, you can definitely reach out to my department through the OER or the affordable department as well. If you guys could relay your information to me, I'll try and do my best with onboarding students to this knowledge. So collect it together and get it over to me, and we'll do what we can to let students know about it.
Awesome, thank you. Any other AIM questions? Okay. And then a reminder with the MOU, next year is the last year, right? So it is sunsetting, so it's money. All right. College Day. There's a
Okay,
new
well,
name now.
I guess this is going to be me. I'm at this point actually not really involved with the organization of College Day for reasons that I don't really want to get into right now. But I do want to say that it will be at North Campus. It will be on Friday. And I guess it's now being called the Student Success Summit, and there's more to it, right? Student Success Summit and Assessment and Innovation something.
It won't come up.
It won't come up? Huh. Anyway, I wanted to show you the agenda. It's supposed to be sent out today to deans, chairs, and heads, and I did anybody get it? Yes. Okay, one person got it. Yes. Okay, it might, well, but wait, I see all the liberal arts chairs saying no, they didn't get it. In any case, I was strongly recommended that it be sent out staff all to everybody, but I guess it hasn't been. I'm not doing that anymore at this point, so I'm not responsible for it not being sent out. But I do want to encourage people to come, number one, and number two, to meet with your unit and definitely make sure you have time to do the work that you really need to do in terms of curriculum, in terms of planning, in terms of working out whatever you need to work out within your unit. That's really important, and if anybody else wants to give a testimonial for that, I would welcome it. For example, Derek, who's nodding his head, I think he might want to say how important that is.
Derek?
I just wanted to mention that certainly in social science, we've been trying to do this for several years. We take a lunch break during the convocation and college day to have unit meetings. And it's hard to get 20 minutes of free time. So I was looking forward to this, hoping that we could get some time to work on issues that we have to work on regarding our major and assessment.
Scroll, I'm still scrolling. Okay. Thank you, Derek. Deb?
I just wanted to let everyone know that we had our IPA meeting this afternoon, and this email with the agenda should be going out to all staff this afternoon. So everyone should be receiving it. And I just wanted to put in a little plug for Middle States. We are hoping that this is the first of many, many years of annual meetings where everyone can get together within their unit and take advantage of that time to look at their assessments and wrap up anything that they want to do for continuous improvement through assessment and get that done in one day with their unit and then get that information into Nuventive at some time. So, you know, we know that it's short, you know, everyone is known about this very short term right now, but plan on this time for next year. And then you can get quite a bit done as a unit in a program.
So the unit times are prescribed?
Well, this agenda, I would look at it more as trying to give an organizational structure to the day to basically let everyone know, you know what, you've got some time to take advantage and do this work I mean, it does need to be done, but it will eventually be infused in our culture anyway. So hopefully everyone will look forward to this day to not only get their assessment analysis decisions and actions taken from that, along with the new thing that's coming out, which is the resource allocation from the assessments. And then, of course, you've got the unit meetings that will take place for the unit business.
Dave?
Does that mean convocation will be changing to also to include time for unit meetings?
That's never been discussed, but with the new provost, I don't know if he's here, but no, okay. That I don't know. We've not discussed that. We could propose it if that's something that the faculty would like.
If this is this important for us to change college day to this, and we're being charged with doing all this assessment work during this unit time, we need time for unit time, all the rest of the stuff that units need to get to take care of, which I thought most of the day was going to be, and now it seems like it's being filled with other things that we have to do. And it just seems like this is saying this is really important. Maybe convocation should be changed to include this type of stuff also.
Thank you, Dave. So I have a question that came from a faculty member via email. So I'm just gonna, would you mind if I just ask it? So I take live audience questions also, if I happen to see them. So playing devil's advocate, if I'm the English department and I have a new ALP program, a new comp sequence, and all these things that have to be done on the unit level, when is time to discuss that? From 1:30 to 3:30? And the unit retreat? Is there a unit retreat?
We have been holding monthly unit meetings simply to deal with ALP and the comp sequence. We already had planned for College Day, for College Day, to be broken up to deal with those things, because what we're doing with ALP and the comp sequence affects every single student who comes through our doors. So we gave up a unit meeting because we thought we were going to have this day to do it. And so, at least for English, this is a big issue.
Sabrina?
It's not as big an issue as you would think, because we don't have any program competency assessment reports to do. We don't have program competencies, so we can use a lot of that time from 10 to 11:45 to work on it.
Joanne? You're good? Any other questions, comments about College Day and its agenda? So the question is, we're going to be doing work on our professional development day, and the work needs to be submitted at the end of the day. Is that, I don't have an answer. Anyone have an answer? Does it say it on there? I haven't read it yet, because I didn't get it on email. So yes, I guess. It's, because it says it. I don't know if I'm scrolling too fast. All right, so I guess everyone will get it via email at some point later today, so you can look at it in more detail. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get the other attachment. I didn't get it. I only got this one, because I'm not on that list. Other questions? All right. For the good of the order. All right, so, where? Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry, Kathy. Oh, yep.
So as a senator, I am also on college-wide curriculum committee, so I can't attend that. It seems to be the only Tuesday where there are two bookings on that day for the college calendar. Also, in regards to the Student Access Center, I received a document last year from a student requesting flexible attendance straight from the Student Access Center, and I, in my SMS signature, Googled it to see if that was actually a thing. And it is a thing. Flexible attendance policies are in multiple colleges across the country. And when I called for a lawyer, we do not have a policy on how faculty are supposed to handle students that need that sort of provision. And I think it would be good for us to have some sort of process for faculty to know how to handle that in the future.
Thank you. Dave?
I believe the college catalog is being updated in April, and I didn't know if everybody here knew that. Yes, it's for the fall. It's going to be updated. The input should be done in April. That's what I heard.
Does anyone know that information?
Unless there's a change.
Katrina?
Unless there's a change, usually the revisions are due by May 1st and December 1st. And I haven't heard there's a change, so it probably is still May 1st.
But faculty need to get it to their reviewer, in most cases their academic dean. And I'm going to take this opportunity to let you all know you should all have, or at least mostly have, some sort of change, even if it's just the revision to the EN sequence. Another sort of for the good of the order change, Spanish 1 and 2 and French 1 and 2 will now be 4 credit hours instead of 4.5. The changes should be, the revisions should be once a year. If there's a mistake, we can revise them between spring and fall, but as far as programmatic changes, they should be annual.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. Derek?
Sorry, Patty. Given this short time frame, do you think they would mind if we take care of our unit business first and then deal with the other stuff afterwards? Because I didn't realize it was that tight.
Michael, do you have an answer?
No, I don't have an answer, but I do have a suggestion, which is this is a point that could be brought up at the opening session on Friday.
Okay. Patty?
New, for the good of the order, it has come to my attention that we will be forming a new task force. Unfortunately, these discussions took place after the executive meeting for the Senate, so we couldn't get on the agenda for this month. We will be looking to form a task force to look at new teaching modalities. The new provost has talked about flex class options, which apparently they did in the Northlands. Things that will make our courses more accessible to more students, including, but not limited to, synchronous distance learning. What are they doing at GCC? Apparently they have some pretty high-tech materials there. What would it take for us to do that? What will work for the students we currently have? And what will work for the students we don't have? How will we increase enrollments by making some creative, innovative approaches to teaching? And this is going to be sort of a wide-open, quick analysis of what's out there and make some recommendations to move forward. We'll get it on the agenda for approval. We'll set it up. It'll be a combination of faculty and probably some IT people because they will clearly have to be on board. We don't want to make IT decisions without the IT people, and we don't want to make teaching decisions without the teachers. So we would putting together a formal proposal. So if anybody's interested or has any ideas or say, what are you doing now? Get in touch with me. I'll talk to anybody about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty. Any other questions, comments, concerns, things that need looking into? Just to address Kathy's point with the Faculty Caucus of the Senate, that is definitely something that we are aware of. We've discussed it with several people, including Brian Millville, the chair of CWCC, and we are trying to find a day where there isn't anything else. We're trying to be consistent with Tuesdays being College Senate business. So I think might rearrange possibly the Senate Executive Committee to a different day, or maybe governance to a different day to accommodate anyone that wants to attend that's on CWCC. So that's definitely something that we're aware of and in the works on. So thank you. All right, it's 4:01. Have a lovely day. It's going to be 61 degrees tomorrow. Get your sunscreen. We haven't seen sun in a very long time. See everybody in April.